Hey guys, what's up? In this video, we will learn how to make a bottom navigation view and use the same to switch between fragments in your Android app. Here you can see a bottom navigation view in action where I can switch between multiple fragments. It is an alternative to a navigation drawer when you have fewer fragments or activities to switch between. So let's get started by just creating a new Android project. Let's name it bottom nav finish. So we're going to use a vector asset instead of an image asset. The difference or the advantage of using a vector asset over an image asset is a vector asset can be scaled to any size without losing its quality. But when you try to stretch an image asset, you're going to lose quality over time, or you're going to lose the quality over when you're going to stretch it more and more. So once your Android Studio is set up, we have to import a dependency. So let's go and import implementation com.google.android.material 1.1.0. So once you're done with that, we'll have to, why we're using this dependency is it's offered by Google. It's called as a material design dependency. It helps you to set up bottom navigation view in your app. So then we just proceed by replacing the text view with a bottom navigation view. You can set its width as a match parent and height as wrap current because you don't want the bottom navigation view to stretch to the entire screen. So and then we give it a background. We can give the background as white, and we are done. So let's go back to design and give it constraint because we are working with a constraint layout. So yeah, we are done with that. And let's give it an ID, navigation bottom nav. Now we'll have to make a menu resource for the bottom navigation bar. It's just an empty, we'll have to fill it with menu items. For filling it with menu items, we'll have to create a menu resource file. But before creating a menu resource file, we need to create assets for the menu items. So for that, you can just go to resource. There's something called drawable. You can right click on drawable and create a vector asset as I mentioned before. So Google has offered thousands of vector assets. You can select any one of those for which is suitable for your Android app. So I just select any random person. Let's name it person. Finish. Let me create two more vector assets. Shuttle. Let me name it shuttle. And let me create the last one. So we are done with creating the vector assets for our menu items. So we are done there. Now let's go and make a menu resource file. How do you make a menu resource file? First you have to make a new Android resource directory and click on menu under the resource type and click on OK. So you'll have a menu resource directory right there. Now we can go ahead and click make a new menu resource file and name it nav menu, anything you like. So we can go to the code section and just make a new menu resource. You can make a new item. We can have its own ID. So we can go ahead and make a new item. So ID is going to be, let's make it person. Title is going to be person. icon is going to be person. So we can make 3 more items like this. So we'll have to make it infinite and shuttle. You have an option of not giving a title for your bottom navigation bar, as you can see in apps like Instagram, but then this will help users know what the icon is actually. So we can just name it with the title. So infinite shuttle. So we have 3 menu items right there with different icons and different titles. Let's go to the design and see what it looks like. This is going to be a menu resource file, but then we can import the same menu resource file for your bottom navigation bar by just going to the code part of it and then giving app : menu is going to be nav menu. So once we go to the design part of it, you can see that the menu item is successfully imported for your bottom navigation menu. Now we can go back to our Java file. So now we'll have to work like whenever you try to click on any of your menu item in your bottom navigation bar, a certain fragment has to be displayed on your layout. So how do you do that? So we need a container for that. You make a container by just going to layouts and selecting frame layout. Let's give it constraints and yeah, so let's make it 0 so it stretches for the entire screen. So we have a frame layout right now. Let's give it an ID now, so we can use this frame layout as a container for our fragments. So we need 3 new fragments so that because we have a separate fragment to be displayed when a separate menu item is clicked. So when a person is clicked, we'll have to have a new fragment. When the infinite menu item is clicked, you have a new fragment and so on. So let's make 3 new fragments by just clicking on new and fragment. File, new and fragment. You can name the fragment whatever you want, but I'm just doing it just for the simplicity. So now next what we do is we can go to our main activity.java and set up the bottom navigation view. So we can first initiate the bottom navigation view by just calling the object of bottom navigation view and saying find by id r.id.bottom navbar. That's the ID that I've given for the bottom navigation view. If you can go to layout, you can see that the bottom navigation view has this ID. So next we'll have to go to our main activity and then initiate this by bottom navigation view dot set on navigation item selected listener. New on bottom navigation view dot on navigation item selected. So what is this? It's a listener. So what this listener does is, so whenever you're trying to click any menu item in this bottom navigation view, this function is going to get activated. So what this basically does is, it's going to get activated and this menu item here tells you what item you have clicked, so that you can change the fragment as it's required. If you have 3 new activities, you can change it to that activity by just clicking on you can intent it to that separate activity, but mostly when we are trying to work with bottom navigation view, we work with fragments because the bottom navigation view always stays there at that position, and then you can just change the fragment in the container. So we can use the Java code to just change the fragments right now. So as you can see that this function is going to return a boolean value. So why does it return a boolean value? So the boolean value is written so that the Android knows that whatever you had to do has been successfully done, and it can show that the item has been switched successfully. So if you can see in this, whenever you're trying to click on location, you can get to know that item is selected with this blue overlay on it. So Android does that when you return true here. So now what we do is we can just change the fragments on the container by just having a blank fragment. Let's make it null initially, and then let's make 3 if conditions. So if item dot get item id equals r dot id dot, we have 3 person, then we can say current is equals to new. Okay, so we need our activity main. First is a person, second is infinite, third is shuttle. First is person, so we gotta do that first. New person. First is person, so we get it blank fragment 1. So else if item dot get item id equals r dot id dot infinite current equals new blank fragment 2, else current is equals to new blank fragment 3. So what we do is we have the fragments. Whenever you try to click on one item, the current is going to become that item. So we successfully have the logic for that. So now we need to switch from the current fragment to the fragment that is given in current. How do we do that? So Android Studio has this Java has this function called as get support fragment dot begin transition dot replace. So we are just replacing whatever is there in the container. That what is a container? Container is a frame layout. So we just say frame layout, and then we give the fragment it needs to change to. So that's a current, and then dot commit. So this does that. So now we have a successfully working code, but how do we know it's working? So yeah, finally we'll have to return true, as I said before. So we'll change the blank fragment in each thing. So we'll have to name this person. So let's go to text view, make this person hello person, and in our blank fragment 2 make it hello infinite, and the final we make it hello shuttle. So we have it right there. So when we try running this app, we can see that let's let the build run. We don't have to change anything here, but we'll know that the fragment has started successfully. So whenever you try to click on anything, it says hello person, infinite, and shuttle. But then we've got a problem here. Let's close everything and let's run it again. Bottom nav. Initially there's nothing in the container, it's completely blank. The reason is because Android selects the current fragment only when an item is selected, but this item is never called initially. So what do we do that? So we need to replace the container with a default fragment. How do we do that? In our onCreate function, what we do is we just call this again, but we know the default fragment it has to go to. It has to be new person. So just say new blank fragment 1. So when we try to run this app, it should successfully show the default fragment initially, and then when you're trying to change it, it changes as required. So that was it, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you.